everyone. I'm joined by a special guest today, my friend, fellow top 8 competitor at LAIC, Mr. Jeremy Gibson. We're going to go through his Gardevoir mirror match against Natalie Millar at LAIC. So this is a really cool match. I think it's one of the most intricate mirror matches we have in this format, and probably ever. So, Jeremy, why don't you introduce yourself quickly before we dive into the match?
I've been playing Pokemon for the last 12 or 13 years, since like 2010 pretty much. I've had some decent finishes pre-COVID, pre-college for me. So like 2015, 2016 era. And then I've had some top 64s and day 2s recently. But top 8 LAIC was my first big performance. So after or in the modern era. So very happy with that and happy to record this.
Nice.
Thanks, Ciaran.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna start playing it here. So when you're playing Gardevoir mirror match, maybe like, what are some things you're looking out for?
First thing I asked when getting paired up, because I think you had played her in day 1.
Yep.
So the first thing I asked was, does she play Toro? Toro is a huge card if you're going first, where you can situationally just checkmate your opponent. Because you can be up on prize cards, clear all your Vs and EXs off the board, and then just lock in the win from there, and your opponent can have literally 0 counterplay in some cases. So that was my first question. Second is Collapse Stadium. That card for this mirror match in the past, because that was the only way to get EXs off your board, and now is one of the 2 ways, and it can also be used to trap guard EX onto your opponent's board, because you can prevent them from playing their own Collapse Stadium. Be sure of that too. Other than that, it's pretty standard. Pretty much everyone was running a Crest and Screamtail. If you're not, then that's like a huge piece of information. But I just assumed that she was. And I think that's some other counts are good to know, counter catchers, boss, stuff like that. But those are the big ones, the ability to clear the EXs and Vs off the board.
Yeah, I found like anytime I played a mirror match and my opponent didn't play Cresselia, like I actually felt like so favored. Because like they would.
Yeah, because you can just put Manaphy on your board, and then there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, like so like they'll put Manaphy down too because they have to block Screamtail, and then like eventually what happens is like your Screamtail gets knocked out by their Screamtail, and you just start using Cresselia, and like you get to keep Curly and they don't. But yeah, I think Natalie played both in this in her deck. So.
Yeah, and just to comment on the first play I made here, I checked my prize cards here, noticed that the Mirage Step Curly was prized, and so that's one of the main Greninja early on. One of the, like, Greninja is actually usually a good card to save for like late in the game. After your Curlies are getting Avery'd and destroyed, Greninja can provide some like late game draw that you can bench right after an Avery. Since I knew that I was going to need more draw because I wouldn't be able to Mirage Step, that's why I went for the Greninja here, to hopefully find some more Ralts and then just act as a Curlia throughout the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like you're only getting 2 Ralts down turn 1, which is pretty bad. You don't have Mirage Step, and Natalie started.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, this is definitely like the more long-term play, because to your point, like I could have just grabbed a Ralt with the, but then I would have been extremely slow at giving my opening hand. So that's part of the reason I went with that here.
I agree with that, because I think you're honestly like trying to look for like a rare candy guard turn 2 when you're in this spot. Like just put the pressure on and start using Cresselia or Screamtail, either or. Natalie worked.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw my hand. It's like Rod, Zacian, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like unplayable. So you were definitely hoping for an Iono from Natalie. There's so many games where I'm like sitting there and I'm like, yo, I really hope my opponent Ionos me on their first turn.
Yeah. The worker here also is kind of relevant. I assume just based on the lists the Australians have played in the past, she doesn't run VIP, doesn't run Palpad, and doesn't run Vacuum. So worker's actually the only way that she can bounce Collapse during her turn. So now after she plays that, I know that I could theoretically play a later in the game to trap her guard EX in play, and she'd have no way to play Collapse the following turn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that is far from my biggest concern at this point.
Yeah, you're just.
She's got the new VIP, and I'm on life support over there.
Yeah, I played Natalie in day 1. She like started Mew like 2 of the games, like got like rare candy guard, double refinement both games. So.
Yeah, that's vicious. Yeah, I don't think she Mirage Steps, or maybe she Mirage Steps once in this set. Maybe it's game 3 or something. Does run the back, so bad assumption. But yeah. Usually you want to Mirage Step in this matchup, but sometimes if you have the opportunity, and this is what comes into play in our set, like if you have the Candy Guardy and can get a few refinements at least, like sometimes you got to just go and try to blow your opponent off the board.
I mean, when you play the VIP version of Guardy, like I feel like the Mirage Step is like almost like a backup. Like when you have Mew, because it's like it's not that hard to get turn 2 Gardevoir and like get the Curlies going with Mew.
Yeah, until like the night before the event, like I was very much on the rare candies, VIPs, just try to play for like a quick Guardy EX, because with Screamtail you can like get going immediately.
Yep.
But yeah, now this version is way less good when you prize Mirage Step. So yeah, if you look here, my hand is just absolutely horrific.
Yeah, you have to
I'm really hoping for an Iono. Yeah, credization here. I mean, it's fine because you can like usually rod at some point during the game, but like, and I think it actually does come up here that not having the Zation is relevant.
Yeah, like because like do you discard Gardevoir here and then just Super Rod or no? Like the rest of your cards in your hand are so good. Oh, you got a Mana Field. Okay. So I was thinking you could maybe bench that to like protect against Screamtail, but I guess they play Cresselia.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking like the Manaphy is way better if you can kill like bench it with killing the Cresselia. You figure you're going to get like Avery'd early at some point. So like benching it right after the Avery is kind of nice because like it's so much harder for them to Avery twice, or if they do Avery twice, it's just worse because Iona do in 2 turns and you're holding your whole deck in your hand. But yeah, discarding that is also a concession.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I could have played one of these rods like early, but like you want to get Curlius back, especially with unprized.
Yeah, I agree. Like in this matchup, like it's you got Avery or like your Curlius just like got Moonglowed Verse or Screamtail, and like you almost need to like stream them every time. So.
Right, and like what came up in debate match, the like if you just can't find, because you can't search Rod, like if you can't find Rod, which like normally isn't a huge issue because like you'll just draw it eventually because you go through so much of your deck. Like if you can't find it, like get back Curlius, like and a Screamtail or Crest, like you pay.
100%. So okay.
So just keeping the outs in deck is helpful.
Yeah,
she's still just setting up her board.
Yeah, she gets a good setup here. She's gonna Mirage Step, so basically 4 Curlias, I assume. Prize one.
No, she has one. She has one prized.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's okay, generally speaking. Her having the Mew also is like helpful.
Yeah.
Matchup. We only run one Avery, so having that as like a pivot is good. I guess the only downside about the Mew is like it can be a super easy cross target with only 60 HP, and that's this game at some point. But yeah, her board looks really nice right now. And one thing which I guess we haven't discussed is going or like being down a prize card right now in Guardy is actually like super good. Like definitely like more to play, and that can just be like better in a lot of cases because you can Iona, you can counter catcher, you can reversal energy, you can do everything you want, and you can pick the timing of your swing. Versus when you're ahead, like you're literally just holding on for dear life and hoping that you can Turo at the right time and get the win. But being behind a prize card is definitely more comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. I guess you're just gonna Screamtail this turn, I assume. You have Candy Guard, which is actually pretty nice.
Yeah. Yep. There's the Screamtail.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna Scream.
I was just gonna say, like, are you gonna knock out the Curlia that has a Ralts or without Ralts?
I know what I'm gonna do, but it's not the right one.
Oh, okay.
You always knock out the one without the. Don't give them the card to like Super Odd. But at the time, it was like just physically far away from me because it's like on the stream table, and like I literally like just like thought it was a Ralts for a moment, and with the with the Ralts under it. But yeah, no, you always knock out the other one here.
And
The
then
one
actually,
without the rods.
yeah, and then getting the damage on the Curly is actually kind of nice because then you can like Moonglow reverse without having to put one more energy into play.
Yeah, that's like a big thing too. Like if you have Cress in play, it's like really good to like never just like promote Cress. Like a lot of the time, like on anything else is good because you're gonna Cress at some point. Screamtail is like the best case. Like Screamtail is like an awesome pivot because like it could just accumulate damage, and then like if you're Screamtailing for like 160 with just like 2 energies on it, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So damage is nice. So I guess now like situationally, like she can just kind of pick her like spot to like counter catcher, reversal, the Guardi EX. It definitely now, but at some point during the game, like that's what she needs to do to like come back.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna be ahead on like drawing like Curly and like called like Shining Arcana here. Because she gets to take initiative to knock them out. Oh, she attacks you with the
Yeah, I like this play actually.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me, even though I have a lot of psychics. Do have Zacian in the discard, and like there's just not a lot of way for me to like punish like the Guardi EX sitting active, especially with only 20 damage on it.
Yeah.
So I like this. Also, another like really good thing that she does here is she has the Guardi EX on top of the Mirage Step Curlia, which is like now more important in this matchup than ever. Like you either want to rare candy it or put a Curlia. If you put it on top of a refinement Curlia, that's just the refinement Curlia that you've like essentially like taken away from yourself for the whole game.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess you have to get Cresselia. Like, is that your plan now?
Because she has the Manaphy in play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do need the Cresselia here.
I think that's what you just grabbed.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, okay,
yeah, there's like no other like line of play other than. So one thing I guess you could do here is like I could, and I didn't consider this at all during the game, but like I could just swing for damage into the Guardi EX, essentially passing the prize card advantage to her, but then activating like my counter catchers, my reversal energy, making my Ionas better than hers, and just say that I'd rather play this game from a prize down than a prize ahead, and then if she doesn't take the prize card for whatever reason, then I could theoretically try to just like boss the Guardi EX and then go up 2 prize cards, which is like a much more comfortable position. Well, way less comfortable, but like way more likely to convert.
I mean, I don't hate what you did because like Natalie only has Arcana Gardevoir. Like she doesn't have a draw like right now. Like besides that, like like assuming that like every turn here, like you're gonna keep taking knockouts on it, like it's pretty good. Like I saw you had Super Rod in your hand, so you can either Rod Zacian or Rod Cress if like takes another knockout this turn.
Yeah, and definitely need to hold those rods for Cress at this point because of the mana fee.
Yeah. Oh, got the odds.
We got the odds. That's the rods become very important. I also have a lot of psychics in discard early, which is like very relevant. Like sometimes with Guardi, like you find your psychics early and you're just able to use all your refinements on psychic energies and concealed cards. But without it, if you're not able to find psychics early, you just have like way less firepower, and your opponent can capitalize that. And actually, that does come up in this game. Natalie just like does not get psychics in the discard. I think she's operating with like 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, that Avery's interesting here because it unlocks Screamtail for her. Yeah, like I feel like if you can like boss that Arcana Gardevoir next turn, like you're actually in a really good spot.
Right, because then she just has no draw.
Okay, she's super.
Again, that is so hard. Yeah, I wonder if she gets any of them back at this point.
Oh, she doesn't.
Also, yeah.
Like, cause yeah, I guess you could loot Minion for boss, but that feels kind of bad.
Yeah, that's probably crazy.
Unless you have collapse.
I guess you could. Right, yeah, you'd want to do it with like an immediate collapse.
I mean, I feel like your response here is gonna be okay, because like you have Super Rod, like you have Level Ball for more ults. You can even knock out the Scream Tail if you want.
Yeah, and I think that might be what happens. The problem is the rods are just already getting stretched, and right here is, I don't know if it's a mistake, but in hindsight, because I think I get Ralts Curlia here, just to for the Avery, and so the big things I don't get here are Screamtail and Zacian. And so like I really do not have too many attacks left.
Yeah.
And like Zacian's like a key attacker when you go ahead, because like that's really like just put the game to bed. If you can get a 9 energy Zacian, not getting their Guard EX with the boss, even if you venture Luminion, then you're just 2 prizes up and it's over. So that's therefore here. Although it's also tough because your energies get trapped with Crest and Screamtail.
I mean, I don't think you need the Super Rod Screamtail back because Natalie has Manaphy. Like, I feel like this turn you wanna actually knock out the Screamtail because Natalie already used the Super Rod. So then it's like, if she wastes another Super Rod next turn of Screamtail, she's out of Super Rods. So
yeah,
I don't know what you do this turn, but I feel like I'd like knocking out Screamtail with Cresselia's attack.
Yeah, I either go for the Manaphy or the Screamtail, but I agree with you. I like knocking out the Screamtail.
Okay, good. Yeah,
And, I think that's what I do. Especially because my Screamtail's in the discard pile.
Yeah. Yeah, because now, like, if Natalie Super Rods her Screamtail this turn, like, honestly, like, we don't really care. Like, then she has no Super Rod left.
Yeah. Right, and that's definitely punishable.
Yeah. It's collapsed in her hand. Okay, yeah, now she's forced to get Crest. Yeah, actually,
so I guess just
I was just gonna say, like, actually, the one thing with Screamtail is, like, if you got Screamtail back, I guess you can one-shot Crest without using a Gardevoir, which I guess is kind of good. But like you said, Natalie's energies are kind of like not that many, so she's gonna get them all stuck here if she uses Crest.
and like part of the mindset for this point in the game is like we that at some point Natalie has to go after the Guard EX, and I can either try to frame that turn so when she kills my Guard EX, I immediately respond by killing her Guard EX. In order to prevent that, she'd have to collapse it, and like with her current board, that'd be dangerous. Or I can try to just make it so she can never KO the Guard EX, which the only good way of doing that is Toro, because then you can like rebench like the Ralt and actually have like some safety, or try to like prep a bunch of energies on like attackers. But that's the part that, even though my position looks like kind of fine, it actually it's actually very dangerous.
Yeah.
With that Curlia gone, I don't really have too much to be able to clear the Guard EX off my board. So my best bet would actually probably going after hers the following turn. Maybe like trapping it with Collapse, but I don't think I find Collapse at any point here.
Yeah, your hand's kind of weird right now. Because, yeah, you have no draw, and it's like, I don't know if you have a Refinement Curlia left in your deck. You might have one, I can't remember.
Yeah, I just rotted one.
But didn't you get it right away?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, but you have another one, though. You have another one.
Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe one just never hit the board because they never Mirage stepped.
Yeah, I think it didn't, because I think you went Rare Candy, then double Refinement. Yeah, that's good. And you need a basic, actually, to use Cresselia this turn.
Yeah, this is actually where things start to get super weird.
Yeah, because I feel like if you whiff, like, you almost have to, like, Iono and attack a Gardevoir EX, which feels really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and so, like, good?
I was just say, like, do you ever, I think you have Iono. Do you have Iono in your hand? I can't tell. Oh, no.
No, I don't
oh,
think
you
so.
didn't. Okay. Yeah, like, do you ever attack with Guard EX here? Like, because you discarded the reverse energy. Like, I feel like you can, like, attach that to Guardy and maybe attack with Guardy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I do attack with Guardy here. So part of the idea, and this is where, like, the Zacian in the discard becomes, like, actually very relevant, is, like, this position is, like, infinitely better if Zacian's not in the discard. Because now, look, I have 9 energies in play. And that research being prized is also, like, a big deal. Because so if that research is in prize and Zacian's in my deck, now if she KOs this Guardi EX, I have like very reasonable odds of just going Ultra Ball, Fish, Research, Counter Catcher plus Zacian. But obviously the Zacian's in the discard, so now I have to find a Rod in addition to that, and I can't Fish for Research to get out of this. So I don't know if like I made any wrong decisions in prep and like going for this line, but
no, I think you should have kept the reversal because now Natalie only needs 7 energy to knock out Gardevoir instead of 8.
Yeah. I mean, she can reversal, so like that's easy enough for her.
Well, not really,
I don't think
though,
she's played either down.
She had no energy in her discard, like going into this turn. Like besides the one you knocked out on Crest, like there's a bunch stuck on the board.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I think actually, so maybe I should have put the reversal on the onto the Curlia, because what ends up happening? I actually want. So I guess like other than the Zacian, having the bulky second Guardi EX in some ways is more valuable. And we'll see that. I guess we could take a look then. But yeah, maybe reversaling it just to give it that extra health, because yeah, like this is exactly what I was talking about. Like sometimes you just don't get energies in the discard. Like she's had plenty of draw, and just like the energies never got in the discard.
One. I mean, she actually would have whiffed if you put the reversal on.
Oh, brutal.
But she had like Cresselia or something, or I'm sure she could have found a way to take a knockout. But yeah, now you're like in a tough spot here.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Okay. Here is actually where I make a. Do I have refinement here?
I feel like you should, you fog, because you want to shuffle your deck, because you actually had some good cards there last hand. You have no energy.
So, okay, so, yeah, shuffling is good here. But one thing that actually might be a huge mistake about this Fog Crystal is that's the last basic Psychic Pokemon in my deck. So, like, if I'm going for the, like, I could try to win this turn, which is very hard, because borderline impossible with like doing a Zacian KO. But I think I actually just should have played this Ultra Ball and not thinned the Ralts.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the problem is if I thin that Ralts, now I actually don't have another basic Psychic Pokemon to go after the Mew with Cresselia on the last turn. So like now I literally need a Rod, because if she just like promotes Guardi EX and swings into my Guardi EX, I need a Rod to even just convert like the basically guaranteed winning position. I think this is where we get the ruling that I don't think they really explained it on the stream, but like see the card next to her deck. I think that just like fell off the bottom of her deck, and so they were counting how many were in the hand for Iono in order to like see where that card should be placed. Not super relevant, but I mean, I guess that's one of those good things that they can reverse because of the stream.
Yeah. Unskippable ad. Is this going for a while? Should I skip through this?
Yeah, it does kind of go on. It goes on for like 4 minutes, I think. Like 3-4 minutes.
Oh.
We do like a bunch of discard checking now. It still hasn't happened.
Oh, it still hasn't happened?
And then right after this comes up a pretty big decision. So off this Iono, I draw a counter catcher. And so I get a counter catcher and a Guardi EX. And so I'm gonna or at least attempt to tank with the Guardi EX. And I have 3 options. So I can go after the like not play the counter catcher and just go after the active Arcana Gardevoir. I can go after the benched Curlia, or theoretically something else, but bench Curlia is the only real viable one. Or I can bring up her Guardi EX and just swing into it. I'm curious what you think here. and then I'll go into
I feel
also
like
having to put 2 energies
yeah,
on this
that's
Gardevoir
bad.
X is really bad. If I had like a reversal or any other energy here, that would have like made this situation like a million times better.
I feel like I'm never countercatching Guardia. You need to knock out the Arcana or the Curlia because like boss wins.
Mhm.
I think just knocking out the
And
active is actually best. Because like, honestly, like they need to rip like Zacian or they need to rip like another Arcana to win.
yeah, so part of the reason actually that I ended up going for this Curlia is there was only one Ultra Ball in her discard pile, and she has Mew in play. So I figured that Mew is likely to find an Ultra Ball, and I didn't want to give her the refinement draw and then the
Arcana draw.
Arcana draw. Yeah, so that's my mindset. I'm curious what other people think as well, if this was the right play or not, because I
Interesting.
could also bank on the Arcana being prized,
No, you
and if
can
the
never
Arcana's
bank on that.
prized, yeah, if the Arcana's prized or just like Mew misses Ultra Ball, then this play gets like it's a missed opportunity to just win on the spot if the Arcana's prized.
Yeah, because I think she only has one energy in her discard. I want to do. Oh, that was a really good draw for her.
Yeah, I mean she's gonna have energy. Like she has 5 energy in deck, barring any like prized ones. Um, but yeah, she has to 2 energies off of this. Ultimately, does. I think I'm happy with how I played that last turn. But honestly, and I'll go look at this. But the biggest thing in game 1 that I potentially could have done is I think I actually like Scream Tailing to just like put damage on the Guardi EX and pass like the prize lead back to her. Because especially because she doesn't run Turo, she has way fewer ways of like converting like the advantage from ahead. And I think like because I was already like behind this game, playing from behind would have given me like more potential to like take an advantage than just like trying to hang on from ahead. So maybe that would have been a good play. I mean, we've talked about like the possibility of like literally just intentionally going behind by like passing, which like you probably don't want to do because like you want to be killing Curlias every turn. But maybe there's merit to doing something like that, or especially in this scenario when like you can get damage on a Guard EX, and like if she doesn't KO it, then you just KO the Guard EX, go up 2 prize cards, and you're chilling. But yeah, interesting game here.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good game because like neither of you had a great board the whole game. I feel like.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm just skip to the next.
So yeah, let's see the prize cards here because
Okay, so refinement. That's annoying. Collapses, but she's gonna take it early. You have counter catcher, but I assume you're gonna be winning this game because you're going first. Yeah, just having one curly in the discard's really, or in the prize is really annoying.
and Avery for me is kind of bad. I mean, we only play one Avery, so we're actually like not playing Avery down that often in
Yeah.
the mirror. It's actually like more important that they respect Avery than that you actually like play Avery and get value from it. But like obviously playing it and getting value from it is always nice as well.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, Avery, like out of all the cards in my deck, was like the most useless one this weekend.
Yeah. No, and there were a lot of scenarios too where like my opponent would have like a squawk on the
Yeah.
bench. And I'd be like, I'd really love to draw 3 right now, but I cannot play this card down.
Yeah, but you're right. Like your opponent has to respect it. Like it's just for us, like the way like we only played one copy, so it's kind of hard to draw it like in swing turns. I think Natalie played 2. I remember her playing 2 against
Yeah.
you and against me.
Yeah.
So.
They played 2. Most people played 2. I know Cal Connor played like 3. I mean, it's good in mirror, but I think like them having to respect it is so much more important than like just playing every turn. Because if you're like playing Avery every turn, like sure, like they're not drawing as many cards, but they're still holding the last 18 cards on their hand from last turn. Like, yeah, and I guess like one of the things that's relevant now, like playing around Avery, is like always make sure that like whenever possible, like you Iona before you draw all your cards with like refinement and Arcana, because you want to have a big hand in case they like just decimate your draw in one turn. Because like those are the best turns to Avery if they have a small hand, because then you can just take out their draw. But if you like make sure that you're persistently holding like 10 cards at the end of your turn, like they want to Iono, and then like they can't really Avery.
Yeah, I found like the Gardevoir mirror. It's actually like you take turns knocking out each other's Curlias, and you literally just like spam Iono every turn and hope eventually like they just falter. Yeah, like normally I just want to Iono instead of Avery, like because like especially Natalie's build, like she's gonna have Mew on her bench, like she's gonna have like Manaphy normally, like Greninja, so it's like not that high impact to Avery.
Yeah, and like there's scenarios where like yeah, I mean it's basically just like keeping them honest. Like if you put like 3 Curlias, like a Greninja and a Manaphy on the bench, like your opponent's just gonna Avery like 100% of the time. Like I'd almost like fish for Avery and then try to collapse the fish at
Yeah,
that point.
I did that one time. That was actually that felt good.
Yeah, it was funny too against the Neil. There was one, and I regret not doing it. There was one situation where I almost like instead of Ionoing him because he had 2 Forest Seal Stones on the bench, I almost like Avery to make him discard one of the Seal Stones so I could vacuum the other one and then play Iono the following turn.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that was the game I dropped in our set. I think I should have done it, but I got scared and I was just like, okay, I should just Iono here.
Actually,
Keep
like,
myself online.
I vacuumed the Forest Seal Stone a lot this week. I mean, only twice, but I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah, no, and like that can be like so huge because like you're come from behind deck. You want to be playing like Iono as much as possible. If your opponent can just like sit there with a Forest Steelstone and like obviously if they haven't used it yet,
Yeah.
that just like takes so much of the sting out of like you disrupting their hand because like a lot of the time like you're really just disrupting them to try to like make them miss like boss on one turn. And so like being able to like get rid of their Sealstone, especially like Miraidon decks, like often just running one Sealstone, that can be like so massive. Just like taking the computer search out of their deck. So Genshi goes with the early Guardi EX.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I wasn't paying like too close attention, so I don't know like her alternative options. And like yeah, like double refinement. So like if there is a scenario where you can go ahead, like this is a good one. But like as Natalie, you do need to ask yourself here like what the response is going to be, and like it's so face up. Like I'm gonna Screamtail like Carlia, and so you're basically saying that you're comfortable playing from ahead with one Carlia, which is a bold statement. And I don't know if it's wrong, and like without Turo too, like it's so hard for you to get that Guard EX off the board.
I agree. I would have also promoted Ralts if I were you this turn, just so you can have 20 damage on something. Like for Cresselia later.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Also, did you discard Manaphy? I can't remember.
Go back. Is you're discarding?
Yeah, you did discard Manaphy.
Oh man.
I feel like you should have played that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because like, what do I bench here? That. So I guess like the. Yeah. No. Just should have played the Manaphy down here. Like, one of the things is like this is like a board that like she would be very happy to Avery. So like the Manaphy like might just get Avery'd anyway because I'm not going to discard like a Ralts or a Curlia over it. But like I had the extra card in hand that like I researched the Zacian. So yeah, I probably should have just benched it. I don't remember. I think I'm just looking for Curlias here, or like Candy Guardy, but like putting this Radiant Greninja down also makes it like that much more of like a good turn to Avery me. Also, so this is like a massive mistake I make here, putting this Arcana down. I don't need it.
Yeah.
And it makes Avery so much worse.
Yeah. Also, you could have rare candy the other Ralts too if you wanted to put it into play. I think. Oh, you're just gonna get another. Oh, you're gonna do both.
This is horrific. Yeah. No, I was rewatching this yesterday, and like, this is such a horrific play by me. So just to explain why it's so horrific. I'm getting rid of my only thing that can knock out I'm getting rid of my only thing that can replace a my Guardy EX being KO'd.
Yeah, because you have no candy left now. Yeah.
Sorry, do you mind pausing this quick? Like this is the game right here, and like this is such a horrific misplay that nobody should be making. Okay, so I got rid of my Curlia,
Okay.
so I can't evolve that back into Guardy EX. I also get rid of both my candies, which make Ralt able to turn into Gardevoir EX in one turn, which obviously is like not easy anyway, because like they're probably gonna like counter catcher plus Iono to make it hard to respond. But like it's still keep you out. Like once two candies hit the discarding Guardy, like you can reasonably assume these days, since like nobody's running three except I think like Tord and Gustavo might run three. Like you can assume that like they cannot put Guardy X in play if they don't have Ralts. And so both those are gone. Arcana Guardies are like not great. Like in my defense, I guess you can say that like the Curlia would have just been the target for like Crest or Screamtail anyway. So like if you have one, like it's not the worst thing to evolve into Arcana Gardevoir. But now I'm leaving myself like massively exposed to, if she can just KO my Guardy EX, I have like enormous problems.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is
Guardy...
keep going.
Plus that Guardy EX is on top of like a Refinement Curlia, which like makes this so much worse too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say here is like also Natalie only had 2 Curlias, so if you like Screamtail this turn, like she only has 1 draw, and like she's probably gonna have trouble like chaining a bunch of Curlias. But I just feel like you could have done like the reversal play like at any point in the game. So like yeah, like I agree. Like I don't think it needed to happen right now.
Yeah, and that's the importance of like the timing of like this. Like I mean, I've talked about it all game one. Like playing from behind is like often like an advantage, especially if you can like disrupt your opponent's draw, and like you can basically, because like Gardevoir is like so powerful from behind with like reversal and counter catcher, like you can cash in like the Guardy EX KO like at any point. And like there was just no reason to cash it in now, because now she gets to play from behind. My board's on life support. So this was just like a horrible timing of like cashing in the play. Like every time here, you should just Screamtail a Ralt. Try to build your board. Like if I want to candy Arcana like one of the Ralts, that's fine. But like there's no reason to cash it in right now. It's just it's way too early, and it makes her lineup play like so easy too. Like now she just needs to like, she can even just like go after the Ralts here even. And like, yeah, I'll still have draw for a turn with the Arcana Guardies, but like at some point that Guardy X is going down, much like it did in our set. And like, I'm just going to lose in the long run.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this one plays out. I do get a little bit lucky here.
Okay. I hear what you had prize, you took prize, but I don't think it was that relevant.
Yeah, no, I don't think the lower prize cards are that good. So she's super odds here. And this is the deceptiveness of board states in Gardevoir. I mean, I'm up a prize card. My board looks beautiful. Her board is a Mew and 2 Curlia, but I take her position every single time here.
Well,
and that's just because like
collapsed.
Yeah, I didn't think too much about this play. I guess the collapse like scraps my Guardy EX in play.
Wait, why'd you get rid of Ralts?
And yeah, I know. Yeah, no, that was an insane decision to make.
Yeah, I feel like it's always Screamtail.
No, people are gonna watch this and be like, everybody at this event played Gardevoir. Like, how did this guy make it?
Oh, bro, like I VOD reviewed my games yesterday. My Giratina game was like really bad. Like I was like, oh, what am I? I literally just like drew the nuts off of his like Roxanne like to win the game. So
yeah, no, I'll chalk some of this up to like stream nerves, but at least it's like a good way to demonstrate some of the mistakes that you can make. Yeah, so like right now, my Gardevoir X is such a sitting duck. Oh, and one more mistake I made here is I didn't preload enough energy onto this Arcana Gardevoir. if I put like one more energy, ideally two, then at least if the Guard EX like gets KO'd, I can boss or revert or counter catcher her Guard EX, and go back up while I venture Ralt to like rebuild in like 2 turns, to like rebuild an attacker. But right now, like at any point, if she KOs this Guard EX, like I lose immediately.
Yeah.
So this is like a massive hole I left open, and I guess I just didn't see this at the time.
Yeah, I mean, Natalie's board isn't that good either, because she has the only Arcana. Like, I actually really did not like that collapse from her, because she should have just left the bench spot open for another Ralts.
Yeah, and also the Arcana. I don't know what she was trying to draw, but like we discussed this, and it's become more and more clear to me as I've played Gardevoir more. But like every time you go to put Arcana down, like you should have a very specific reason for why you're like putting the Arcana down.
Yeah.
Like yes, you can be greedy and draw 2 more cards this turn, but like not playing it allows you to like have basically an extra refinement at a later turn of your choice, and then like always have the option to evolve that back into an a Guard EX later if your opponent does go after your Guard EX.
Yeah, so I also don't like this line of play that you're about to do. Like, I feel like you should have just benched a Ralts, then knocked out Cresselia with Screamtail.
I don't know if I had a Ralts here. Did I have a Ralts?
Yeah, you had one in your hand.
Okay, and I put Cresselia down?
Yeah, 'cause I assume you're gonna knock out Mew or something, or Manaphy, sorry, but...
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Because now, if your Refinement, not Refinement, Arcana gets, like, Screamtailed, like, your board's, like, just, like, done.
So I wonder if because, like, there were weird, like, it took, like, a very, like, weird, like, line of play early on with, like, her using Guard EX and then me quickly KOing the Guard EX. I wonder if, like, part of me is, like, still playing this almost as if I'm playing from behind rather than ahead. Because this line of play is like actually way more okay if you're behind. Because if you're behind, like your opponent can't really target your Guard EX. It's most important for you to just be able to like stream attackers, which like carrying the Manaphy to activate the Screamtail kind of does. But like right now, I'm just not addressing the elephant in the room, which is like if my Guard EX goes down, it's over. And like Cresselia like makes that like an even bigger problem. Because like, and look, I don't even preload energy onto like the Arcana Gardevoir, so like I can't even attack next turn if he KOs the Guard EX.
Yeah, you have to rip an energy off Arcana after super hotting energy back.
Yeah, and then like because I got rid of the candies, like I can't even do it in 2 turns.
Yeah, like that's why
it's literally
so good.
Over. Yeah, like if at any point she draws a counter catcher here, and maybe she like I don't even know if like playing that worker was correct, because like if she draws the boss, like the game just ends immediately, like literally immediately.
Well, did she have reversal in her hand or no?
No, I guess she doesn't.
Yeah, cause now your thing is getting.
Yeah, but like I guess just from like the sequencing thing, like yeah, like I guess you can like, but she doesn't even have a refinement. Like, there's no reason to like play the supporter like when she could have just used the Arcana first.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this is where she like. I don't think she sequenced this turn very well, and I think she'd agree with that. And then like she just promotes the Screamtail, doesn't have enough energy. I don't have targets on my board. See, that's why I didn't bench the Ralts. I didn't want her to be able to.
Yeah, that was just Giga Brain.
Screamtail for easy value. Yeah.
That was so strange. So she scooped there. I feel like the game was still winnable. She retreated by accident. Like didn't realize there wasn't enough in the discard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I'd say it's super favorable. For her, like if she like doesn't make that mistake. But now that I'm like thinking about it and like we've looked at this game, like it still might be fine even if like she doesn't like scoop there.
Yeah, I don't know why she scooped there, because she was up 1-0. Like it's almost impossible to finish the game 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, we were both playing pretty fast, but like yeah, and so like part of the thing about like Gardevoir 2 is like sometimes like games end fast if like Guard EXs are getting like blown off the board. Both collapse, and especially like we were in Turo. Although I don't think I've revealed Turo in this set.
Well, she played against me yesterday, so she probably knew.
Yeah, I don't know if she knew we were running the same list though.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I mean, I didn't tell her. I don't even know if she knew we were. Did she know we were friends or no?
No, I don't think so. I mean, she like didn't mention it or anything.
Okay.
But like that's just like a general thing about Guardian Mirror 2 is like, and one of the reasons that like you have all like the like time and selling issues with Guard EX is like Guard EX can like trade big attackers and KOs and stuff, but it can just as easily like clear all the EXs and Vs off the board, and then like your opponent just like can't take 2 prize knockouts. So like obviously that's a huge advantage as a Guardy player. Is like for like example, like if I was playing against like a Miraidon deck, like they always have like two prizes on the board, and like I can like try to play like a game 3 with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
And like I'll be in position to like potentially win if things are going well. But like if time gets called and like I can't win, but I have like a Guardy EX like sitting on the board, I can just like throw it and be like, you can no longer win in these turns. I guess that's less true now with like Iron Hands,
Yeah.
but like situationally.
No,
like
I agree with that. Yeah. So I mean, I just looking at the prizes. Now they prize 1 Curlia, then like she prized 2 VIP pass. So I guess she doesn't draw them right away. Good, but otherwise, it's good having the prize.
Now, if you're Natalie here, like going first, do you ever play the game differently in order to have better odds of like finishing it? As opposed to like a slow Mirage step, like do you just like say I'm gonna send Candy Guardy here? I know I cannot let this game finish if I want to, but like let's see if we can get lucky and just like get through the turn 2 Guardy EX.
I mean, like I don't think her hand is conducive to a turn 2 Guardy EX, but if you had a good hand, like yeah, I would maybe go for it. So I mean, I don't think you prized anything that important. You prized 1 EX, and you prized a reversal. I think everything else was like irrelevant.
Yeah, that's fine. That's another reason I like the 4 Ultra Ball in our list, is just being able to like have more odds to like finding Guardy EX, because like there can really be like, especially if it's like Ultra Ball like turn 1 or something, there can be times where like finding like Guardy EX or Arcana Gardevoir actually becomes like a problem, which is like something that like I think a lot of Guardy players like overlook, is like you draw so many cards that like you often just have whatever you want, but it's very, very possible to just like miss something key like that, and then immediately like you just have to pass. You have big problems.
Yeah, I feel that.
So attaching here, very important, because even though it's like a very weird play, if I don't attach here and she like happens to have the boss in her hand, it's like absolutely correct for her to just boss Greninja, and then I can't Mirage Step this turn.
Yep, I agree with that.
And like a lot of decks should like look into doing that. If your opponent like doesn't prep their board correctly, like if say they have like a Radiant Greninja active, a Ralts benched, and like a Mew benched, and they attach to the Greninja in like planning to like retreat for the Ralts next turn and Mirage Step, like even though like bossing like a Mew and passing to your opponent like feels like a ridiculous play, that could actually be so good just to like prevent their Mirage Step.
Yeah, no, I agree. One of my opponents did that to me, and I was actually very impressed. I didn't have energy in my hand, but I started Ralts, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna turn 2 Mirage Step, and then he just went boss. I was like, yeah, oh, nice.
And that's one of the cool things about Rowan's Mew deck with the hammers too, is because he wasn't attacking turn 1. He was like a lot of the times like if they just like attach to like the bench Ralts, you can just crushing hammer it, boss something else, and then pass to them, and you get a free turn, which is like pretty massive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mew doesn't have that many turns to begin with.
I mean, it requires you drawing crushing hammer and flipping heads, but like yeah, even having the option.
Yeah, well, if you're a crushing hammer player, then you've committed to that. So here I have a Ralts in hand, and a Screamtail, and I think not benching them is correct, just because like this is like a perfect example of like a turn that like if she has Avery, she should play it. And yeah, exactly. Like in the past, like you obviously just bench the Ralts, like maybe you can Candy next turn, maybe a Curly gets KO'd, you can Rod and re-evolve it. But like you're just begging to get Avery'd if you put one of those down at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And like yeah, it's like you don't even know if you want to Screamtail or if you want to like Crest or Ralts, so.
And so like one of the things that's like kind of relevant here too is like we both Mirage Stepped. So like we both have like pretty set up boards. And when Guardy has like set up boards, like it just takes a million actions per turn.
Yeah.
So like even though both of us is playing like extremely fast, like, and we're both aware of the clock at this point, like there's like 6 minutes left. So like even if we take like 1 second per action, we're increasingly becoming aware that like the opponent can like bail out, and like even without like stalling or like slow playing or anything like that, like just like take enough actions that like the game will not conclude, and like clear the guard EX off the board, stuff like that. So like the mindset shift, or the mindset here really shifts from like, number one, like don't do anything like really stupid. Like don't bench a fish, don't like bench guard EX and Zacian. You could argue that there's even merit to like me like not even like putting a guard EX in play here, just because like it's so unlikely that like I'll be able to win, and like if anything I'm just like exposing myself. But I'm hoping that this game can conclude. Like it's not like I have a bad setup or anything like that. But yeah, both of us is pretty aware that even though like we're set up, we're both playing like super fast. This game's probably not going to conclude, and that's all because like you save a full turn by like clearing the guard EX off the board.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, if time gets called, like Natalie's at 3 prizes, you get literally Toro or collapsed.
And like 4 minutes is like a lot of time. Like if we were just like swinging into each other with like roaring moons, like this would be one thing. But like Guardy's like not even a deck that you can just like draw attack.
Yeah,
like,
no, you have to keep advancing your board.
Yeah, especially as, like if your Curly is being KO'd, like you're just like risking ruin by like not like what are you gonna like not use your refinements? Like you just have to. Yeah, so I think my board's a little bit better right now. Again, she has like evolved into the Arcana, which again, if she needed to draw like a supporter or something, like that can be relevant. But like especially if she's ahead, like putting these Arcana Gardevoirs in play is like very risky. Like if she candies here, I really don't like that.
I mean, I don't hate it just because now like you can't crest anything. Like relevant. Like you can crest her mana feed, which I don't think she cares. So it effectively just protects a draw 2 on her board.
But this is what I did last game. Like imagine, like I don't know what she's gonna do here, but like if I can knock out her Guardy EX, she's pretty much dead on board.
I mean, yes, but like then you just tie.
True. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you ignore like the fact that like there's just like both of us completely have the bailout scenario of like this game like cannot finish.
But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, like it's not a good play if there was like 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just like no. Yeah, that's the biggest thing in Gardevoir right now is like, and I appreciate you being the one that made this like crystal clear to me after our set. Like putting like Arcana Guardies in play is just like taking a massive option away from you.
Yeah.
If you have one Curlia, you often want to do it just to protect it from like Cress. But like you're kind of just like doing it to yourself anyway. Like at least make them Cress. At least make them Cress and take out your Curlia. Otherwise, like you're just turning your Curlia into a Radiant Greninja for no reason.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I'd rather have the Curlia always.
Agreed. Yeah, there's some matchups where like you have to evolve to Arcana just because like you want to have it ready. But yeah, in this mirror, like you don't care at all.
Yeah, and like a lot of matchups like you can very much get like a feel for if they're like able to like go after the guard EX. And like one thing that comes up in like Miraidon matchups and stuff like that is like if they go after your like guard EX, they're not addressing probably a massive Arcana Gardevoir.
Yeah, so you don't have to put another one into play, which is really nice.
Yeah, and so you're protecting with pressure. And that's another thing that like I think people underrate Fish for this reason. Is like you protect the fish by having like better things to go after than the fish. Like if they'd already want to KO your guard EX or already want to KO like Curlias, then like Fish isn't really a liability. Like you already have a 2-prize liability. You already have like other things they want to be going after. So like it's fine. Like it's just like another equivalent option, and like getting the support is massive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, huge takeaway from this matchup is like don't evolve into Arcana Guardians with no reason to do so. And also, I discard Manaphy all 3 games here.
Well, you're gonna knock out active,
I mean,
right?
Yeah. I don't know like specifically like if that's like bad in a lot of like those scenarios. I think game 2 or 1, it was definitely bad to like discard the Manaphy. But like in general, just keeping the Manaphy around is good for Mirror.
I remember I was in the crowd watching this turn that Natalie plays, and I was like, "Yo, Natalie literally needed to go attack." So like now she can't win because. I mean, you probably could have just like collapsed or something.
Right. And yeah, I mean that's exactly like the Toro. Yeah, very awkward handshake. Nice.
That always happens.
Yeah, no, that's where like the Toro and the collapse like make this from like something where you could like probably not finish a game to like just like definitely not.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I mean that was actually a pretty good match. I thought it was cool, like the aggro-ness of it, like the first game. I was like definitely unconventional since there wasn't like Mirage stepping.
Yeah, it's like a very like instructive match. Like I wouldn't even say that like I played this like particularly badly overall, but like there's still some like very horrific plays into there to like take things away from, and like really so many of these like mirror matches come down to like the nuance of just like when do you evolve Curlios, like when do you play rods, like what do you bench, like to what extent do you respect Avery and play around it each turn. It's a super interesting mirror.
Yeah, I agree for sure. So I love how they have replays now. Like we're playing sports. Like,
my favorite is like when they just do the replay of like somebody just going like draw pass turn 1. They always put that on. It's nice. It tells the story of the game. I think they did that to you in top 4.
Yeah, I think they did too. Yeah. My top 4 match was some unfortunate starts.
I wish they did the replay of you realizing your Mirage step was prized.
Yeah, that was so funny. Like, yeah, when I was recording that yesterday, I'm like, this is nice. This is like very memeable. Oh, they even got the awkward handshake in there. No,
why would they do that? Like, she didn't even win. Like, it was a tie. Like, there's no reason for them to do that. Oh my god,
that's so funny. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. I thought that was a good match, man. Thank you for joining us today. Before we sign off, is there anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to say?
No, I mean I'll give a shout out to Robbie Weidman. I haven't heard from him in like 6 months, but gotta shout him out. Big time Raptors fan. But yeah, I mean it was a good match. I definitely don't think I played very well. I think there were a few key mistakes from Natalie too, which I think she'd agree with. Some of that stream, I imagine both of us would have played better not on stream.
Yeah.
Gardevoir is super interesting. Play Gardevoir right now. Like it's just such a good deck. Like I don't like if you're trying, like obviously if you like another deck more, like play it. But like right now I don't see why you would play like a deck besides Gardevoir other than decks that are like designed specifically to beat Gardevoir. It's just too good. You have so many lines of play. It's relatively consistent even with like some of the greed that we did with no VIPs. But like play it's also like a really good deck just for like learning how to play the game well. Every single match at LAIC, like there are things that like I could have done better. I'm sure it's the same for you. Like you have so many decisions, like you like every loss can probably be traced back to like some mistake you made, which is nice because it's a better playing experience than if you just like run some like deck where it's like, oh well, they drew out a judge path. Like it's good for getting better at the game, even if it's hard and you know you're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I agree.
So
And also, if you're like a good player and like you get good at Gardevoir Mirror, like I actually think that matchup's like very favorable if one player is like a much better player than the other. So,
Mhm.
I mean, like I went 6-1 at LAIC in Guardian Mirror. Like it's like a matchup I felt like super good like going into because like I felt like I really
Mhm.
understood the line. So like if you can really get good at the Guardian Mirror, then you're basically turning like a 20% deck like into a favorable matchup, which is pretty cool, while keeping Gardevoir's the rest of its matchup spread.
Yeah, yeah. Like having a very like high skill ceiling is good. The mirror matches are good, and like they're fun too. Like it's
Yeah.
not like a grueling like mirror. Yeah, no. Like play. Everyone should like play Gardevoir. Like you don't have to play for a tournament. Like if you don't think you're like skilled enough with the deck to like play it and get the results you want, but like play Gardevoir. Like you'll learn a lot of things.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Hey, cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to see more Gardevoir VODs, you can go watch my VODs. I reviewed my game against Giratina, my top 4 match against Miraidon. And that, thank you for watching. Good luck with all.